This right here, this is the face of a man that wants a new starting quarterback. Welcome into Falcons Today by Chat Sports. Atlanta lost to the Commanders 24-16 at home in embarrassing style with horrible clock mismanagement and horrible quarterback play. So with that, we're going to run through some of the overreactions, and to be honest with you at this point, not really even overreactions, right? We are 6 weeks into the NFL season. We have 6 games of Falcons football under our belts. We have a good idea as to what the 2023 Atlanta Falcons are, right? And so with that, let's kind of run through some of the talking points I've seen out there on whether or not I'm buying or selling these big ticketed storylines. So the first one, Arthur Smith, is he on the hot seat? Not quite. I don't think he's on the hot seat after being 3-3 through 6 weeks and sure having some very disappointing losses where it looks like his offense just got spanked, but I don't believe he is actually on the hot seat, and Arthur Blank is going to start doing some real searching for a new head coach. We still have a ways to go until that point. It's mid-October. Let's pump the brakes on this idea. Now, if any changes do happen, you guys know we're going to keep you covered. So if we do hear word of, hey, Arthur Smith might be on the hot seat. If they don't start winning games, we could see a change at head coach for next season. I don't think we're going to see a midseason firing, but nevertheless, we're going to keep you in the loop, which is why you got to subscribe. But let's get back to Arthur Smith and the Falcons. This was a bad showing when Atlanta was the better team coming in, right? The Commanders just got really spanked on Thursday Night Football at home against the winless Chicago Bears. And you're at home against the Commies, and you let them just walk into your house and mess up all the couches, right? Like a outside dog running on the furniture, and you had no way of stopping them. I mean, I don't understand how it's possible to have 402 total yards of offense and lose to a team with only 193 total yards of offense. How do you do this? Well, I'll tell you how. There's a couple of reasons why, right? One, horrible clock management in the fourth quarter. I know that it is easy with hindsight, but why do you not call a timeout to avoid a delay of game at the goal line with an opportunity to tie the game in the fourth quarter, but instead you want to save that timeout so you can use it after Desmond Ridder just spiked the football. The whole point of spiking the football is to save a timeout. No one thought of inventing the idea of spiking the football because they're like, you know what I love to do? Get to second down a little bit quicker. No! What's the point of saving that timeout because you didn't use it at the goal line just to use it after spiking the football when the clock was stopped? I also was not a fan of the play calling. Give it to Tyler Algier up the gut? What? That's not the right call right there. You've got Bijan and Drake London. Go to those two guys when you need to pick up 2 yards. No offense, Tyler Algier, but no thank you. And then you go for 2 down 14. I can make peace with that idea if you've got a really good play call in your back pocket. If you've got a 2-point conversion you've been working on all season long, and it's going to be a difference maker. Why would you put yourself in a chance where if you don't get that, then you really need Desmond Ridder to put on a cape and lead a touchdown drive and another 2-point conversion attempt? That seems like you're asking too much for a quarterback that is shown to be inconsistent. Don't make it harder on yourself, right? Make it simpler. Kick the extra point. Make it a 7-point game. Did not get that. But the miscommunications between Arthur Smith and Desmond Ridder will only be between those two guys when it comes down to who's to blame, right? Who's at fault? There was a lot going on with the offensive substitutions and a lot going wrong with those substitutions, and not everyone on the same page clearly. Now, here's what Arthur Smith said after the game on the late game disaster. It wasn't on Dez. You're trying to figure out what's going on. There's a lot of logistics that go in. Always looking at yourself. It's something we clearly didn't do a good enough job of today. Hasn't been an issue, but it was today, and we have to get it fixed. It's just a disappointing loss, right? And I wouldn't say that you wanted to lose games. No one wants to lose games. But if you want to have a look in the mirror moment and figure out, are we going to be a losing team or a winning team? It's good to have that as a spin zone here in October compared to December. So hopefully the Falcons can learn from this loss. They have plenty to watch on film. plenty to watch on film, plenty to work on in practice. This is not a burn the tape kind of loss. This is you should not stop watching this tape to get yourself improved and better until next week against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But I know there have been people calling for Arthur Smith's job, so I'll open it up to everyone watching right now. Should Arthur Smith be fired? I'm not saying this exact moment, but whether it's in a month or at the end of the season, should he ultimately be let go? I'm saying no right now. This team is 3-3. Let's slow down on firing Arthur Smith when the ball club is 500. I still think he has like I said, I still think he's a good coach. Just had a bad day, right? Like, he did a fantastic job. Arthur Smith did a fantastic job of winning to work with last year with a bad Marcus Mariota and a day 2 rookie and Desmond Ridder down the stretch. Just not his day at the office today. And unfortunately in the NFL, you only get 17 days at the office. So you just can't miss them, right? I mean, this is why the NFL every Sunday feels like the Super Bowl, right? Every win feels like a parade's going to be planned. And every loss feels like you just got the number 1 pick in the draft. So a lot to work on, a lot to improve on, but I'm not punting on Arthur Smith. Not yet. Moving on to our next overreaction. So they bench Desmond Ridder. Strike 2. Strike 1 was the Lions game, we'll say. Strike 2, we'll say, was this game. Maybe a foul tip for the Jags game. But I'm on my last strike with Desmond Ridder. That's the sports analogy I'm trying to make here. He has been so inconsistent. He has shown no one the ability to believe he is going to be this team's starting quarterback for 2024 and beyond. At this point, it feels like he was just at the right place at the right time, and lucky him because Mariota was so bad, they had to go a different direction, but they weren't bad enough to draft a quarterback, and they didn't want to get one in free agency because there weren't any good options out there. So Desmond Ridder was just sitting there going, I'm all you got. You're all I got. Whatever. I'm all you got. I'm all you have. I can't believe I can't say that sentence. But the point is, he has been so inconsistent. When you look at his games, up and down, right? Week 1, they only throw it 18 times. Not going to have a lot of opportunities there. 115 yards, 1 touchdown. Week 2 was phenomenal in the second half and specifically in the fourth quarter with his legs as well. 2 touchdowns, 1 turnover. The QBR goes up. And then the Lions game, right? When the offensive line was horrible, but Desmond Ridder wasn't doing anything to pull him out of the deep end. And then you get the Jags game where maybe a foul tip is actually, doing him a solid because it could be worse than that. But then you got the Texans game where he looks like a potential franchise QB. 329 yards, 2 touchdowns. The best QBR of his NFL career in the season. But then you have this past game. Asking him to throw it 47 times, probably just not a good idea, Arthur. He is not a quarterback designed to throw it 47 times. We told you over the summer he is a professional handoffer. You know what professional handoffers don't do? Throw the ball 47 times. Ultimately, 8 turnovers for Desmond Ridder through 6 games can't happen. You just are not going to hold on to a job in the NFL if every time you walk on the field, they know we're getting one. And we're probably getting 2, right? If the defense knows, hey, the offense is going to spot us an interception or a fumble, well, they're already playing with house money. They sat down at the table in the casino and said, here's an extra chip on us. I've been to a casino. I've been to a lot of casinos. They never do that. They never just give me an extra 100. No. But Arthur Smith and Desmond Ridder and the turnover machine in Atlanta, they are doing that for other teams. Ridder can't be the reason the Falcons lose, right? And he has been twice this season. He's been awful in all the losses, which, listen, you're not usually good at losses, but you can't be the main reason why when everyone walks into the locker room after the loss, they go, fucking DR9, man, cost us another game with these turnovers. 3 interceptions and the goal line interception was atrocious. So if you were in charge right now, would you bench Desmond Ridder? B for bench or S to keep him starting? Give me your opinion down below in the comment section. I can't believe I'm saying this. I think it is too early to bench Desmond Ridder. Because this team is 3-3, if you go into that locker room and you bench Desmond Ridder, that's not an easy decision to go back on. So if you got, a decent thing going here of a 500 ball club with a very easy schedule coming up, and you bench your starting quarterback, and things don't go well with Heinicke, you can't put that genie back in the bottle, right? You've already stirred up the locker room. You stirred up the fan base, the media. You created a bit of a circus by benching your starting quarterback. That's a card you only get to pull once. So make that decision, make that decision at a very crucial juncture. Probably not when you're 3-3. Ultimately, quarterback is going to be a talking point again this offseason, and it's probably going to be a talking point before we even get to the offseason. I mean, I've seen people chatter about Kyler Murray. If the Cardinals suck and they somehow end up with Caleb Williams, or they get a quarterback in the draft, whoever it might be, that could be a possibility. Justin Fields from the Bears coming back to Atlanta, possibly. But there are definitely going to be a lot of quarterback conversations going on over the next few weeks and months into the offseason, which is going to create a very long offseason. Now, before we get to my third overreaction from Week 6, check out our sportsbook partners today, BetUS. They've got the best deal for Dirty Birds fans out there. Chatsports.com/BetFalcons. Use promo code Falcons125 for a 125% deposit bonus. Shout out to BetUS for supporting us here at Falcons Today. Third overreaction, and I kept the worst for last. Bijan Robinson's efficiency. Is it concerning? I'm going to say a little bit. I would be naive or I'd be blind if I said there weren't times where I'm like a little bit concerned about the output we get from Bijan from game to game. It kind of feels up and down. I mean, he's always going to be a dual threat, right, when it comes to rushing and receiving. But you look at his Week 6 stats, he averaged 2.8 yards a game. Listen, even Derrick Henry has bad days at the office, right? Christian McCaffrey, all the greats are going to have a Sunday here and there where they just don't average 5, 6, 7 yards a carry. But we have seen up and down results from Bijan. Not necessarily play, because he always runs hard, he hits the holes well, and he is athletic and agile, and he's breaking ankles every single Sunday. But this cannot happen for an entire game, right? You just can't have your star running back go out there and average 2.8 yards a carry when the offense is predicated on that star running back and this backfield, because God knows Desmond Ridder throwing the football 47 times is not a winning recipe. Tyler Algier, he is slowly being phased a little bit out of this offense. He only is on the field 27% of the snaps on Sunday, which is way down from where it started Week 1 against the Carolina Panthers. He averaged 3.9 yards a carry, a long of 11. Bijan is excellent in the passing game, and that's why he continues to have a great role on this offense and why I'm not concerned about Bijan Robinson. For me, it's just the output. It's the efficiency, right? It's how often he gets the football and how many yards is he picking up. Well, if the numbers aren't pointing the right direction, if we're not getting green arrows, something has to be addressed. Something has to be fixed. And it's not get someone else the ball, because Bijan's the most talented player on this team in my eyes. It's we got to fix the offensive line. We got to fix the play calling. We got to get Bijan in better spots to be successful. Past 2 games, 83 rushing yards. Still looking for that first rushing touchdown. Every time they're at the goal line, I'm waiting for him to punch it in. But an average of 3.1 yards a carry. The guy's a rookie. He's going to work through some stuff. He's going to learn what it's like to play an NFL season. It's a little bit different going up against Deron Payne, Chase Young, and that Commanders front four versus K-State and West Virginia in the Big 12 schedule. It's going to take a little bit of time. It's only October. He's going to improve. He's going to get better. This ground game is going to get better. But they sort of put all their eggs in that basket. And you saw what happens if the ground game's not going. They lean on Ridder, and he throws 3 interceptions. So what's your concern level over Bijan Robinson? I'm at a 1. You can scale 1 to 10. I'm at a 1. I'm not concerned over Bijan. He is an absolute specimen. He is the best player on this offense, maybe after Chris Lindstrom if you're going, pound for pound, giving some love to offensive linemen. But Bijan is an absolute athletic freak. He can do it all. I'm at a 1. I'm not concerned. We just need to see corrections and improvements. And you know what? That's their job. Like, sometimes I think as fans and even media members, we forget, they don't just fuck off from Sunday to Sunday. They come to work. They put in hours throughout the week improving themselves and game planning and putting themselves in positions to execute that game plan the next Sunday. You see teams go up and down every single Sunday. It's not by accident. It's about the effort and the time they're putting in between each game to hone their craft and perfect everything so that they are the better team on Sunday. And I think we're going to see Arthur Smith and Bijan in this ground game come out of this little slump better than ever. All right, that's going to do it for us on today's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate people taking their time out of their day to come hang out with us here at Falcons Today. We will sign off and see you all later.